because last week we got kicked out, didn't we? Okay then, so find yourself a little bit of space on the mat and just start by standing with your feet hip distance apart. Okay, so feet hip distance apart and your knees are just ever so slightly bent, and just bring your awareness just across the top of your pelvis, and we'll just start by doing some pelvic tilts. So imagining your pelvis is a big bucket of water, and you're just going to start by tipping the water out the front and back of your bucket. So you get flattening of the spine and then arching of the spine. Just tucking underneath and arching away. Do a couple more of those. Really try and isolate that movement to the lower back, keeping the rib cage level, thighs parallel, and then just come to where your pelvis rests level, so you're not spilling any water out of those buckets. Okay, relax the arms down by your side and just start by drawing some nice big circles with those shoulders. Let's loosen off those muscles around the tops of the necks and shoulders. So we're going to do 3 circles in one direction, and then we're going to change direction with those circles. And try and engage your breathing at the same time. So a nice deep breath in as the shoulders roll up and out as they roll down. Don't forget to change direction about every 3 or so. Nice big circles. Feel your shoulder blades moving up and down the rib cage as your shoulders circle round. Now as you do that, I want you to try and gently draw your tummy towards your spine. So as if just below your belly button there's a piece of string, and you're just drawing that string toward your spine just to create a sense of tightness across the front of your pelvis. Good. Let's do 3 more in each direction. Keep that breath nice and deep and grow as tall as you can, as if a helium balloon is just floating you up towards the sky. Super. Now we're going to add a little bit of a balance challenge here for those that wish to. Otherwise you can stay where you are, but if you want to, see if you can float up onto tiptoes, hold those heels up and off the floor, and then change direction with those circles. So just keep moving with the circles, but keep those heels lifted. You're in your best pair of high heels, ladies and gents. Keep those heels up. Good. Now if at any point that becomes too much of a challenge, too challenging for the calves or too challenging for your balance, you can just drop the heels down and then carry on with those circles. Keep going. I'm going to come see how you're doing with that. Although I can't see any of your feet, so you could all just be on the floor. Oh no, Helen's up on her tiptoes. It looks good. Well done. Oh, hi Sally, I didn't see you joined us there. Good to see you. Super. Okay, pause where you are. If you can, keep your heels lifted and melt your shoulders down away from your ears. So you're going to try and tuck your shoulder blades into your back pockets. Gently tighten your tummy. Hold that position, but see if you can look over one shoulder. So this is going to throw your balance off a little bit. Don't worry too much. Then come back to the center and go over to the opposite side. Good, and then come back to the middle and lower those heels down, and you'll probably need to give your legs a bit of a shake. So hopefully that's got a little bit of blood running through the calves. This is such a sign of the times. I've got a mask in my pocket and I'm going to get rid of it because it keeps annoying me. Okay, so we're going to work into some squats now. So back to that feet hip distance apart. Check in that your pelvis is level, and we want to keep that pelvis level as we start to bend into those knees. So just start to lower yourself down into your knees, just making sure that as you go down, your bottom doesn't stick out. Keep that tail tucked underneath. And as we go down, we want to avoid that knee traveling over the toes. So you're going to keep your weight into your heels. Now you do hinge at the hips, so you'll notice how my shoulders travel forwards, but my spine stays nice and long. So keep your chest lifted. And as you push up to stand, really try and engage your heels into the floor, so you're lengthening through your legs. Keep working with those little dips. If you want to work harder, obviously you can go a little bit lower, but we're going to add on to this sequence now. So after your next squat, come back to stand, shift your weight across so you can tap one leg out to the side. Bring that foot back to hip height. We come back to squat again, come up to stand and then tap the opposite leg out to the side. So you'll notice how I'm sort of shifting my weight across so that I'm keeping my nose and chest bone and belly button all in line. So it's that shift of weight in order for you to be able to tap that leg out to the side. Or you can tell I've had a week off, my mat has rolled up. So here is level 1, just squat and shift. Okay, for level 2, for those that want to work a little bit harder, as you tap the leg out to the side, you're going to bend that standing leg. Now your goal with that standing leg is to keep that knee over that second toe. So don't let it cave in towards the direction of that leg that is stretched out to the side. And the longer you stretch that leg out to the side, the more you're going to work that standing leg. Keep it going. So squat and tap, and squat and tap. Good, working at your own pace. I'm going to come and see how you're getting on. Any point you need to, slap those thighs, shake those legs, and join back in again. This should get your heart rate up a little bit, or it sure does if you're trying to talk at the same time. That's looking good, everyone, really nice. Okay, I want you to hold your leg out to one side. Okay, either with the leg straight that you're standing on or slightly bent, and you're going to see if you can lift and lower that leg. Now, here is a challenge. Try and do that without losing control at your pelvis. So remember that big bucket of water that we talked about at the start with our pelvis? We now want to keep it level from side to side. So even if that means your foot only comes 2 millimeters off the mat, that's fine, but it's better to keep that control at your pelvis. Okay, so that can be done with the legs straight or the knee bent. Keep going. We've got 6, 5, 4. These should feel really tricky. 3, side of the hip should be burning now. 2, 1, and hold where you are. Hold where you are. Keep going. Keep that center line nice and straight. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Straight over to the opposite side. So either with the legs straight, lift and lower, or with that knee bent. A bit more of a challenge with the knee bent. Find that level pelvis and hold it. Little lifts if you need to. Breathe out as you lift and in as you lower. Or just breathe, just don't hold your breath. Good. Okay, we've got 6 more. Nice and tall with that posture. You can do it. Think of all those things we're going to achieve this year. It starts right now. I forgot to count, so I'm going to go 3 more. 2 more. Lift and hold. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lovely. Back to the centre and shake all those legs out. That was designed to be a bit challenging, so don't worry if you found it quite tough. Well done for keeping up. Okay, let's go down onto the mat and we'll loosen off with our roll down. So nice and tall to begin with. Imagine you're stuck against a wall and you're just peeling your spine away from the wall. So if you're feeling a bit stiff at the moment, you can just soften your knees to begin with, but just really try and work every bone of your spine individually and really just enjoy that sense of movement. So don't force any of it, just take it to where you can, hang out at the bottom, and then slowly stack yourself back up. So for those of you that have messaged and said, I'd like to join back in, but I'm feeling a bit inflexible after Christmas, take it easy and build back into it. So once you've come back up to stand, you can go straight back down again. So it's that idea of your spine moving one bone at a time. You've got it, looks good. And try and bring a little bit more weight into the front of your feet. And you'll feel a lovely stretch down the back of the legs. But just make that stretch feel nice, don't force it, don't bounce into it either, just try and breathe, nice exhale at the bottom. Lovely, keep them going. Brilliant, and just use your next one to come down onto the mat, so slowly roll down. And then we're going to come to our rest position where we lie on our backs. So once you're down onto the mat, we'll just give you a moment to get into that position, and if you need to, just adjust your cameras so you can catch up with where we're at. We're going to work into shoulders to begin with. Okay, so we've got a little bit of a shoulder sequence to do whilst we're resting on our back. So I thought I'd show you how we do it in sitting, and then we'll try it lying down. So for those of you that come to class, you'll know the dumb waiter. So we're going to do this lying down, but you'll really want to think about connecting your shoulders down into your back pockets and almost pressing your shoulder blades into the floor. You're going to draw your tummy towards your spine and keep your elbows pressed in either side of you. And then you're going to allow your arms to fall down towards the floor. And then you're going to bring them back up in line with the ceiling. So dumb waiter, we're holding 2 trays of drinks and we're just bringing them out to the side and in. But we're going to be doing this lying on our backs. We don't always do this, so it's just something slightly different. So once you're happy with what we're doing, I'll show you what that looks like resting down on the mat. So you'll need a little bit of space either side of you. So once you're in your rest position, your knees are bent, your feet are hip distance apart. You've got a little space in the small of your back, elbows gently tucked into the side, have your palms facing into one another, and slowly bring your hands down towards the floor. Now you'll notice, if you want to take your hands even further, how your rib cage wants to flare up towards the ceiling. So we're going to resist that temptation by tightening the rib cage slightly down towards the mat. Imagine those 2 spring coils that connect our rib cage to our pelvis. Just tighten them up ever so slightly. And you should feel that creates a sense of tension through the backs of the shoulder blades, and also opens up the front of the chest, which is quite nice if you've been sat at a desk all day. Okay, let's add some breathing here. So we're going to breathe in to prepare. We're going to breathe out as we float the hands away from one another. Gently tighten the tummy as you do that, if you've got enough thought to think about something else, and then breathe in to come back together. So it's quite a nice flowing movement, but you should really feel a good amount of activity around the backs of the shoulder blades, and feel your tummy working hard to avoid that rib cage from lifting up. Okay, let's add some legs now. So we're going to come in and out of tabletop. So as the leg hands float out to the side, we're just going to bring one knee and stack it over the hip. That's our tabletop position, resting at 90. Then we're going to float the foot back down towards the mat as the hands come back together. And then we're going to swap tabletop sides. Now, tabletop is all about control around the pelvis. So can you keep a tray of drinks resting level on your waist as you bring your foot off the mat and into tabletop and back down again? And as I mentioned earlier, as those hands float away from one another, gently draw your tummy to your spine, and then just release that pressure as your foot comes down and your hands come back together. So this is level 1, dumb waiter and scissors. Level 2, we're going to hold both feet off the mat in a double tabletop, hold that position and continue with your dumb waiter on the arms. Now that double leg lift is going to increase the load to your tummy. So if you feel that pulls in your lower back at all and you can't control that lift in the lower part of your back, then just go back to your level 1 option where you come in and out of your tabletop. So imagine you've got a sponge in the small of your spine and you're trying to keep a constant pressure on that sponge as your legs hold that double tabletop. Now, if at any point you need to, hug your knees towards your chest, give your shoulders a roll, and then join back in. I'm going to come and see how we're getting on with that. Lots to think about, a bit of a coordination one here. Now watch those shoulders don't start creeping up towards your ears. I want nice long necks, that's it. And think about those shoulder blades just gently pressing into the floor beneath you. Good. Okay, we're going to go for 3 more. Now, if you're in double tabletop, make sure your knees are stacked directly over your hips, not further away. That's it. Lovely. Super. And I take that as about 3. So give your knees a little bit of a hug and rest there for a moment. Okay. So I'm going to show you where we're going to take this. I'll show you the 2 levels. So from here, from dumb waiter, we come into Cleopatra. So the arms come out to the side, but then we're going to see if we can stretch them along the floor and then draw them back in again. So you'll be sliding the backs of your hands along the floor. Now, if you can't quite get your hands towards the floor, that's fine. They can be floating off the floor. So what that looks like in your rest position is you're sliding out to the side. Hopefully you've all got enough space to do this, and back in again. Again, really trying to not let those shoulders creep up towards the ears as the arms lengthen, and that rib cage is gently pressed down into the floor beneath you. Okay, so you could be doing that here or in the double tabletop, but in a moment we're going to add some legs. So just get used to those arms, and they're not come and join in with you. So your arms start here and you stretch out and in. And it's a really nice way of mobilizing all the nerves and tissues that run from the neck down to the fingertips. So any sort of carpal tunnel-like symptoms is going to give all of those structures a good stretch. If you do get any pins and needles, just wiggle, shake it off, and join back in when you're ready. Okay, I offered you options with legs as well. So level one, as the arms stretch out, you're going to come into your tabletop position and you're going to stretch one leg away. And as the arms come back in, you're going to fold back to tabletop. Repeat that on the same leg. We'll do 3 on each leg, okay? And fold back in. Stretch away with the hands and out with the foot and fold back in. And then you can swap sides with your tabletop. Add that stretch and fold back in, okay? So with level 1, you've just got one leg in the air and you're adding that stretch. Now level 2, quite simply, we're just going to work with both legs in tabletop, but we're just going to have one leg stretching out to the side. So lengthening away and folding back in, and swap on your 3rd repetition. So as you stretch your arms out to the side, your leg lengthens away, and as you bring your arms back in, you fold into tabletop. You can see I'm getting those brains working. Now watch those heels don't start to dip down. Try and keep your knees bent at 90 degrees, even if your leg's not moving. You've got it, Sue. That's it. So stretch, yeah, that's it. Stretch that leg out. Good, and then just swap sides every 3rd one or so. Good. I noticed some of you will get a good clean floor after this. Okay, keep it going. Remember, you can rest at any point if you need to. We're almost there. Just watch that opposite leg doesn't sort of, even as it's holding that tabletop, doesn't start to fold in or drop down. Keep that heel lifted, Ivana, if you can, on that left leg. That's it, lovely. Lovely, Emma, looks good from here. Okay, I'm going to join in with a couple more with you. Keep that tummy gently drawn towards your spine. Final one. And then again, just hug your knees towards your chest and gently rock from side to side on the small of your back. Okay, we're just going to do one more on the back. We're going to come into hundreds. So you can either be in rest position or back in your double tabletop. But just reach your hands as far down towards the bottom of your mat as you can. Float your arms off the mat and just begin to pulse. From here, we're going to count 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, keep breathing, shoulders down, neck long, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Amazing work. Hook those knees towards your chest and catch your breath from there. Good work. So a little bit of a break from the tummies now. We're going to do some nice arm, chest, shoulder opening. So if you just come to line your side for me, and I'll show you a couple of options. So a really nice opportunity to reconnect with our breath. So as you lie on your side, you're going to bring both your arms out in front of you. Now, if you have got a pillow, you might want to use it just to support your head. Otherwise, you've got both hands on top of one another. Now you're imagining that your top hand is a paintbrush, and you're going to draw a big stripe of paint up and over the top of your body. Follow that stripe of paint with your gaze and see if you can bring that stripe of paint up and over and behind you until the arm is maybe even resting on the floor. And then bring that stripe of paint and draw it up and over the top of you again. So a big rainbow over your body, breathing in as you bring the arm up towards the ceiling, but then out as you take it over the top of you. Now let's try and separate those movements from top to bottom. So gently press your knees together and anchor them down into the mat, so that as you open up the top of your body, you'll feel that twist a little bit deeper through the body, rather than letting your knees lift and come with you. And then you'll feel a lovely stretch through the top of the shoulder and the front of the chest, which is really important to open up, especially if you've been stuck behind a computer all day. So you can carry on with these lovely big arches, or you can draw a circle. So we sweep the arm up and over to the top of the mat, round and down to the side of you, and then underneath you, and draw that bottom half of that circle as you bring your chest forwards. So don't mind what option you do, just do what feels most comfortable for you, but really try and focus that movement to the top part of your body. Imagine you've got a cup of tea resting on the top of your hip, and so you're trying not to let your pelvis rock backwards too much as you open up the front of your ribs and your chest. Okay, we're going to do 3 more. Nice deep breaths for me. That's it. And yeah, just let your gaze follow that movement. This should feel really lovely, so make it count. Good. That looks great, everyone. Well done. Final one. Very nice. Okay. Now we're going to go straight over to the opposite side and do that lovely arm opening. So you can either roll over or you can come to the other side of your mat. And then when you're happy, just go straight into it. So lying on the opposite side now. Okay, you've got your knees bent. Try and make sure that you're stacked up in a line, so your feet, your hips and your pelvis are all in line. Spine is stacked up. Just start with that simpler arm opening with the drawing of the rainbow over your body, just to let things loosen off. And then if you want to, you can go into that second option of drawing a nice big circle. Now try and keep your neck as long as you can, so focus on those shoulder blades, sliding down the back of your rib cage and tucking into your back pockets. Just enjoy that lovely feeling of stretch and really trying to keep those knees gently pressed together, pressing and anchoring the bottom knee down into the mat and keeping your pelvis as level as you can. I'm going to give you a couple more of those because they do feel really good. Don't always get to do these in class because you end up holding the hands of the person next to you, which wasn't a problem pre-COVID. Lovely. Okay, let's go for 2 more. These look great, everyone. Beautiful. Okay, and then just slowly bring yourself into a seated position, and we'll finish off with some full body strengthening as a little treat to end. So I'll show you what we're going to work through, and then you can join in when you're ready. We're going to be working in our box position. So any of you that have issues with kneeling, either roll your mat up or pop a pillow underneath your knees. Or if any of you have issues with wrists, again, you can just place your hands on a folded mat, or you can make a fist and bear your weight through your knuckles. So in our box position, we have our hands beneath our shoulders and our knees beneath our hips. And we want to make our spine nice and long. So to do that, we think about lifting the back of the head away from the mat, but keeping our gaze down on the mat. We think about tucking our shoulder blades down and away from our ears and lengthening our tailbone towards our heels. Remember that tray of drinks? It's now resting on the back of our spine. Now to keep our pelvis level, we're going to gently tighten our tummies towards our spine. And we're going to take our right knee and we're going to draw our right knee towards our chests. And then we're going to straighten our leg out behind us. Now you don't have to lift the leg too high, just stretch away. Same on the right side again, draw the knee towards the chest, but keep that tray of drinks level on your spine. This is more about keeping the back steady than it is how much you can move your leg. So if you need to, you can keep your foot gently connected onto the floor and just slide your leg along the mat. So we're going to do 3 on the right side, and then we're going to repeat that on the left side. So the knee comes towards the chest, and then we stretch away. Knee comes towards the chest, and stretch away. And you should feel a tightening in your tummy as that knee draws towards you. And then a lengthening but controlling in the tummy as it stretches away. So 3 on each side. Shake out the wrists as you need to, and join back in again. Everybody give that option a go, and then I'll show you where you can take it if you want to. Super. So watch those heads don't start to hang down. Remember that helium balloon attached to the back of your ponytail if you have one. Looking good, everyone, and it's all about that control. A nice exhale as you come to the end of that stretch with the foot, and then inhale as the knee comes in. Beautiful control, well done. So tendency for wrists to get a little bit achy with these, that's fine, just shake it off and join back in when you're ready. Now I'm going to keep you going with those, but I'm going to show you what your level 2 option is. Now level 2 is a very big jump up. Give it a go, and if it's not for you, go back to level 1. So with level 2, we're going to take this into our full plank. So we're going to stretch the arms forwards, lift the knees off the mat and straighten through the legs. Holding that position, we're then going to do that same draw of the knee and stretch away. Draw of the knee and stretch away. And draw of the knee and stretch away. Swap sides. Now, if at any point the plank gets too much, what you could do is have a rest and then try it again. You don't have to do 3 in a row, okay? You can just do as many as you feel able to. Choose your options, be creative, give it a go, but think about that tray of drinks that's resting on your back. Don't lose that control just because you want to give a harder one a go. You can always build up to it. You've got 2022 to work that magic. Now you should really start to feel your abs kicking in now. So let's keep it going. Resting if you need to, that's it, shake it out, go on, that's it. Hopefully heart rate's picked back up again. This is your last little push. We have 2.5 minutes and I will give you a little stretch at the end. Now for that, but keep them slow them down. That's it. It's harder the slower you go. Well done, everyone. Yeah, and you can rest out if you need to. Okay, I'm going to do 3 on each side and then I'll tell you to rest. Okay, keep it going. So slowly in and out. Remember, you don't have to be in full plank. You could be in your box position. Oh, this is tough. And I've done half the amount that you've done. Okay, after this next one, you're going to lower yourself down towards the mat and take your hips towards your heels and stretch out in your shell stretch. Give your wrists a little bit of a shake if you need to. Give your shoulders a little bit of a shimmy from side to side and just catch your breath. Well done. Okay, walk your hands to the right and push your hips to the left. And then walk your hips to the right and hands to the left. Come back to the center, and this time we're going to thread the needle. So you're going to pass one hand under the opposite arm and just glance towards that hand. And then over to the second side, threading through, glancing towards that hand. Lovely, and then just walk your hands towards you. And you can either come to stand or you can stay seated, depending on where you are on your mat. Brilliant.